What's going on, guys? Jacob over here coming to you with my reactions to Packers versus Jags. And let me just say I am extremely thankful that the Packers were able to escape that one with a win. Maybe one of the worst winning performances I've seen out of the Green Bay Packers, at least in a long time. The Packers, the Jags have a legitimate argument for worst team in the NFL. And Jake Luton, their quarterback, is a rookie making a second start, very immobile, very inaccurate, and yet the Jacksonville Jaguars led for parts of this game, and for a part of it felt like they might even win the game, late in the fourth quarter when they had, or not late I should say, but in the fourth quarter, late in the game when they had a 20-17 lead. This game, the Packers came out very flat. Very uninspired. I will give the Packers credit. They came to play when the Jacksonville got it into Green Bay territory late in the game, under 2 minutes to go. They got 2 consecutive sacks and then got pressure on Luton again on the 4th and 26, causing him to throw the ball away and ultimately securing the victory. So I'm going to give credit to the Packers for that for sure. Offensively, a really, really ugly game. There were times where this offense looked like the offense that we know. There was the 80-yard bomb to MVS from Rodgers. There were some times where everything seemed to be kind of going in sync, and there are other times where it's just like, what is going on here? I was not a fan of the way Matt LaFleur called this game, especially that last offensive play, that 3rd and 1, where he ran it up the middle with Aaron Jones. I know a lot of people, think, well, you'll need 1 yard, so who cares if it's predictable? But I have always hated with 1 yard to go, running it right up the middle on a 3rd or 4th down, especially with a guy like Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones isn't a power back. If you want to run that play, run it with Jamal Williams, who's, a guy who is going to keep his feet moving, a guy who is very, very tough, and generally seen as, the power back to the shiftiness of Aaron Jones. You don't run that play with Aaron Jones if you are going to run it, and I don't even like running it with Jamal Williams. It's just not a very creative play call. It's very predictable, and it's easy for teams to know what you're going to do in that situation and sell out to stop it. I would have much preferred, a quarterback sneak maybe, where you don't have to hand the ball off, take the time handing the ball off, and allow them to get that initial push into the backfield. I'm just not a fan of the call, But run a sneak, run a bootleg, even a fullback dive, or put Sternberger back there. I don't know. It's just not a good play call in my opinion. Sorry, I took a while discussing that play call because I just did not like it so much. But really, the entire game was not a fan of the way the Packers were calling the game. They were throwing a lot of screen passes. They seemed very, very passive, in large part seemingly due to the weather. But when Aaron Rodgers had the wind to his back, his throws were accurate. That 80-yard bomb to MVS, that was a really, really good throw. He had the wind to his back. So it almost helped his throw in a way, and I don't understand why the Packers weren't more aggressive when they had that wind to the back when they were driving on the football field. But, the Packers escaped with a win. I can talk doom and gloom all day, but they escaped with a win, and they won this football game, and they are 7-2 and on top of the NFC standings right now, with a win over the number 2 team in the NFC, the New Orleans Saints. So it kind of seems, silly for me to be talking about this team's deficiencies after a win, but it really just didn't seem like a very good performance. I feel like the Packers lose this game to almost any other team in the entire NFC. This game felt very similar to the Minnesota Vikings game, It was a very sloppy game on both sides of the football. The Packers' defense looked very poor at times, especially defending the run. Jacksonville's running back, I'm not going to pretend like I know a whole ton about how good this guy might be, but I do know that he was undrafted, and we let him run for 100 yards on us, and it felt like every single time he carried the ball, he got 5+ yards. So that's obviously got to be something that changes, and the Packers didn't do anything to address their run defense at the trade deadline. So we're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. Imagine when you actually run into a team that can run the football, And this is kind of the problem that I have with the Packers right now, A lot of people have pointed to the fact that the Packers' offense is so good that they don't necessarily need to worry about the run defense because when you're playing ahead, you don't have to worry about the other team running the ball down your throat. But when the Packers offense comes out and has days like this, because they still do have days like this, and every good offense has days like this, especially in the wind, with the way the wind was blowing. It was like gusting 40, 50 mile an hour winds today. Every offense is going to look like this from time to time, so it's only a matter of time before you run into a team that's a lot better than the Jaguars in the playoffs and you get down. I mean, just look at the 49ers game in the NFC Championship last year. The Packers fell down early, and guess what the 49ers did? They ran the ball and ran the ball and ran the ball, and the Packers never really had a chance to get back in the game because they were playing from behind. That is the biggest problem with the Packers' run defense and their philosophy that I've seen some fans claim that they have for not needing to have a good run defense because their offense is just so good. When the Packers can't get out to early leads, it's not good for the team as a whole. And the Packers did not get out to an early lead today. They had like 3 straight drives where they didn't score points at the beginning of the year, or not the year, the game. But at the beginning of starting this year, they had this was the first game that they didn't score on their opening possession. So I mean, we kind of got lucky that we were playing a really, really, really bad team this week because the Jags definitely misfired on a lot of plays that they otherwise, if they were a good team, might have been able to cash in on. Jake Luton, he put up an admirable effort, but really it was kind of just a really sloppy performance, and you'd expect a quarterback that was even marginally better to probably make some of the throws that he wasn't making, and maybe the Packers lose this game if it's anyone but Jake Luton behind center for the Jags. I mean, if it's Gardner Minshew instead, the Jags, I hate to say it, probably win this football game. I mean, it was just one of those days for Green Bay. But the commentator at the end did make a pretty good point when they said, contending teams are able to find ways to win games like that. Packers found a way to win, and their defense stepped up when it counted. So you have to give them credit for that. Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, those 2 huge pressures at the end, and then Zadarius Smith on that 4th and 26, immediately getting to Luton. Those were 3 huge, huge plays by the defense, and I am so glad that they did not rush 3, I should say, on that 4th down. My biggest pet peeve with this defense is how soft they play at times, especially running that 3-man rush zone coverage when it's a long ways to get the first down. I just don't like it because it's not aggressive, and that's the big problem I've always had with this defense under Mike Pettin. It never seems like they're being aggressive enough. I mean, it kind of feels weird to air my grievances right now when we're talking about a win, but really this game should not have been as close as it was, and there is a slight feeling of disappointment I leave this game with. Obviously, I'm still very happy that we won the game, but I just can't, sit here and pretend like everything's all great and put rose-tinted glasses on or anything like that, because, to be honest, this performance was rather concerning for Green Bay. The fact that they seemed to lack any sort of effort whatsoever for, the first 3.5 quarters of the game. Even offensively, they've only really had that one quarter in the second, and then that one drive, and it ended with the Adams touchdown pass, or touchdown catch, I should say. Sorry, I keep mispronouncing words for some reason right now. I don't know why. But I just want the Packers to look better than they did. I mean, this is a game I kind of felt like the Packers should have came in and put 35 points on the Jags and held them to like 10 or 15 or 14 or whatever. It just doesn't seem, like a very inspired performance. And if like I said, if this was against any other team, the Packers might lose this game, or they do lose this game, I should say. So maybe this isn't the most positive reactions video you're expecting, but I'm just trying to give you my opinions and my reactions to how I felt the game went. And honestly, that game was about the worst I've ever seen the Packers look in a win. So hey, a win is a win. A win is a win. The Packers are 7-2. They are on top of the NFC. So take that for what it is. The Packers play the Colts on the road next week, so that's going to be a significantly tougher game than this one. But hopefully, with it better weather conditions, being that the game is going to be played in Lucas Oil Stadium, a dome, maybe we'll see a better performance from the Packers. But anyways, guys, that's all I have to say in this video. Thank you all for watching. I do want to give a shout out to 2 people, 2 very good friends of mine who also make social media content. One of them is Brew Crew Megan on Twitch. Go give her a follow. I will link her Twitch in the comments and in the description below. And the other one is Brewpack on YouTube. Many of you, I'm sure, already follow him, but he makes fantastic YouTube videos similar to mine, more of a Brewers-oriented focus on his channel, though, in contrast with the Packers on mine. But give both of those two people a follow. They make great, great content. Trust me on this. You will not regret it. But in the meantime, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Pack, go.